Yes, my name is Mark Levy, and I used to live in Santa Cruz. I lived in Santa Cruz County for 45 years.
Oh, wow.
And I recently, 5.5 years ago, moved to Florence, Oregon. I'm just answering all the questions ahead of time. And I'm down here for Passover. And of course, you know, Passover, when I was a kid, I thought Passover meant that's when we passed over the Red Sea, right? Out of slavery. It's where the holiday commemorates the exodus from Egypt and slavery. And that's what I thought it meant, you know. But then later on, when I went to Hebrew school, no, it doesn't mean that. Although Posach does mean pass over. But what it comes from, and some people might not know this, is that the 10th plague, that was the one that was the real the kicker for Pharaoh to let us out, was the slaying of the firstborn of every Egyptian family, okay, including the prince, I guess it would be for the Pharaoh. So after that happened, he let us go. But the way that the angel of death knew, as the story goes, not to kill the firstborn of the Hebrews, who were slaves, our ancestors, some of us, was that they slaughtered a lamb, and they put the blood of the lamb on top of the door, and the lintel of the door. And so the angel of death passed over. So that's the real meaning of it, Passover. Now, it's okay, it won't be on the final. So here we go. Hine ma tovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad. We'll include the sisters too. Shevet achiot gam yachad. Hine ma tov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov umanayim shevet achiot gam yachad. You see, in Hebrew, there's no neutral case. You can't just say them. It's either he or she. We're doing that a lot these days. But the Hebrew word for brothers is achim, and the Hebrew word for sisters is achiot. So that's why I include both. Hine ma tov manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov manayim shevet achiot gam yachad. Da 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 da. Hine ma tov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov umanayim shevet achiot gam yachad. Lo mira leneinim beneinim den Pesach mekabel ponim zayin, den Pesach mekabel ponim zayin. Lo mira leneinim trinken a glenzel abai. Lo mira leneinim lustig and freilach zayin. Everybody. Okay, that's all right, I'll carry it. Lo mira leneinim beneinim the guest mekabel ponim zayin, the guest mekabel ponim zayin. Lo mira leneinim trinken a glenzel abai. Lo mira leneinim lustig and freilach zayin. So that's saying we drink a glass of wine and we have fun. Okay, we're celebrating being released from slavery 3,000 years ago. Something like that, maybe even 3,500. I don't remember exactly. I was young at the time. So, so along here, the mind of the cop upon the time, the mind of the cop upon the time. Long and other than them, long and other than them, drinking a glass of wine. Long and other than them, long and other than push the umbrella outside. Long and other than them, long and other than them, drinking a glass of wine. Long and other than them, long and other than push the umbrella outside. I was raised in my grandparents' home, and they spoke English when they didn't want me to understand. It's even funnier if you heard their English. We'll talk about my father's family were actually Spanish Portuguese Jews originally. So Sephardic.
Sephardic.
Yeah, so does anybody here have Sephardic ancestry? We do. Oh, that's what we talked about that, didn't we? Amsterdam, was it?
No, I don't remember.
I would like to point out that the verse that I'm singing says, "My beloved is mine, and I am his." That doesn't sound like a man wrote it. It could be, but we're talking thousands of years ago. So there's a theory that women actually contributed. I told you we were going to get women in here more. The oldest instrument, drum, what would it take to bang on something? You would think, That's why I took up drums. I like banging on things, and they don't bang back. So it's worked. It's called the Doonbek or darbuka. Now, Doonbek, they both mean drum, but one of them is Arabic and the other one's Turkish. Do you happen to know which one it is? Okay. I'm going to do a little bit of the 4 questions, and of course you have to know the answers to this, because we're the young children. We had a kid who was just bar mitzvah last night in San Francisco. He wasn't bar mitzvah last night, he was just there last night, but he had recently been bar mitzvah, and he was the youngest, and he did a wonderful job, and he sang it like this: Man ishtana halayla hazeh mikol haleilot, mikol haleilot, Shedlachol halelot anu ochlein chametz umatzah halayla hazeh kulo matzah halayla hazeh kulo matzah. Now that's an Israeli tune. How many people know it that way? A few people know it that way. How many people know it this way? Man ishtana halayla hazeh mikol halelot, shebechol halelot anu ochlin chametz umatzah, halayla hazeh kulo matzah. How many people know it that way? That's the old yeshiva bacher chant. When they would ask, the students would ask the Rebbe, they would ask in this mode, in this fashion. It does survive in some of the Orthodox community, but in this case, this is a tune that I grew up hearing at home, and it was probably, it does predate the Israeli version that I just sang. But later on, I heard it sung like this. Barvos is die Dosige Nacht von Pesach, anders von allen Nacht von der ganz Jahr. Alle Nacht wecken wir essen sich Hummus auf Matzah, aber Halleluja zeh, die Dosige Nacht nur Matzah. How many people remember hearing it in Yiddish? Oh, we do have, good. I love singing in Yiddish, I love hearing Yiddish. It's a really juicy language. You know, there's a lot of sayings, you know, like when a lot of things are happening at once in your life and you're going crazy. There's a Yiddish saying that goes like this. In mittendrin Bobbe schwanger. Anybody know what I said? The Greek Jews are mostly Sephardic, descended from the Spanish Portuguese Jews. So there was a big community, well, it wasn't big, there was just a good number of Rhodesli Jews in Berkeley. And so I was able to spend some time with them. And this is one thing I learned. This is the 4 questions in Ladino. Ladino, don't be afraid of it, it's just like Spanish if you're a 500-year-old Jew. So, cuando fue de mudada la noche la esta más que todas las noches, que en todas las noches no nos entiendes a filo ves una, y la noche la esta 2 veces, que en todas las noches los comientes le dos se seña, y la noche la esta todo el se seña. Get the idea, it's the same thing. Does anybody understand Spanish? Actually, I'm originally from New Jersey, and just, you know, full disclosure. That's why I live on the West Coast now. Yeah, got tired of getting beat up in New Jersey. It was, you know, I still get beat up here, but the scenery's nicer. Yeah. So anyway, I got the book from him. He has the 4 questions in Pig Latin, for instance. Just about every other language he ran out. He has it in Klingon. I think that was was that Star Trek or Star Wars?
Star Trek.
I get those mixed up because I didn't see either of them. But yeah, Star Trek. Oh yeah, Star Trek. That was the one that the Mad Magazine did a parody on it called it Star Trek. Yeah. Everybody knows what Trek means. Yeah. Well, we don't have to go there. Nobody doesn't know that, right? We had slavery in this country, but Africans that came over and they were enslaved. And they were taught the Bible by missionaries. They weren't taught to read or write it, but they were taught in churches, special churches, and they used it to sing their way to freedom. In this case, it's the song Go Down Moses. People know that song, Go Down Moses? Well, it was called Spiritual. We don't know who wrote it. It was written by a very famous author, anonymous. I wish I had his royalties. This is Go Down Moses, and in this case, Moses can refer to the conductors of the Underground Railroad, one of whom was Harriet Tubman. Anybody know that name? She had been, at some point, referred to as the Moses of her people, because I think that she rescued at least 100 people from slavery on the Underground Railroad. They may have sung this. I know that this has been sung since that period, and I included it in my Seder. Maybe it was in the ones that you went to, but regardless, if you know it, sing it with me. When Israel was in Egypt's land, let my people go. Oppressed so hard they could not stand, let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt's land, tell Pharaoh, let dead. Let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt's land. Tell Pharaoh, let my people go. No more shall they in bondage toil. Let my people go. They shall go forth from Egypt's soil. Let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt's land. Tell Pharaoh, let my people go. In the 70s, when Jews were being let out with great difficulty of Russia, when it was part of the Soviet Union, they made up a song that basically says, let my people go, in Russian, and let my Jewish people go now, it says. And here's how it went. So, that was my Russian. They did speak Yiddish. And then, of course, my sister and I had to learn a little bit in self-defense, because they were usually talking about us, right? So we would pick up on the Yiddish, then they would go to Polish. And so then we had to get a little bit of, Polish under our belt. And if we were understanding that, you knew they were desperate, because then they would go to Russian. And so I had a little bit of Russian. Plus, they had shops in town, and they had to speak all these different languages to hawk their wares. So we've always been a people that are, for instance, I sing in 12 different languages. Not all at once, because then it would be intolerable. Now I'm just, but it would be like a singing Tower of Babel. So they updated it and they made it into modern language, and it became the national language of Israel. Even though there are other languages, of course there's Yiddish, there's Ladino, but that doesn't include everyone. But this is a song about getting to freedom and getting our Torah and our teachings and being thankful, and it would have been enough, it says. It would have been enough. Anybody know what the title of this song is? Dayenu. That's exactly right. By the way, a lot of these songs have like 1 million verses. And when I was a kid, I used to do all 1 million verses of every one of the songs. Like Echad Miodea and Had Gad Yah. I'd be doing the 13th verse of Echad Miodea, and the dishes would already have been done, and my parents would be in bed and they'd yell down, "Okay, Mark, that's enough, we're trying to sleep now." But I was so into the music, that was the thing that really drew me. But anyway, this has got a chorus everybody can sing. It's just one word. Dayenu, it would have been enough. And it goes like this. Dayenu, 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 Dayenu. If Elu Hotzianu, Hotzianu, mi Mitzrayim, Hotzianu, mi Mitzrayim, Dayenu, 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 Dayenu. Elu atan natan lanu et HaTorah, natan lanu et we'd only left Mitzrayim, fill a glass and shout l'chaim, and left Mitzrayim, shout l'chaim, dayenu, 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 dayenu. If we'd only got the Torah, sang our song and danced the hora, got the Torah, danced the hora, dayenu. Last time, dayenu, 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 dayenu. So that was enough.
Yeah, more.
There was me.
It wasn't enough.
Oh, you want to hear all 20 verses of that? Well, you're going to have to get up here and sing them. What they wanted to do was have people sing along. So they wrote some of them to melodies that would be known to the German Jews, like this one. And what was the other one? Ein Keloheinu. That was a knockoff of a German march song. I ruined it for everybody, didn't I? Okay, but that's why they did that, so that people could sing along and it was accessible, and they would, of course, learn what it means better. He is our God, no other gods like him. You know, there you go again with there's only one gender. It's hard to degenderize. I usually say, oh, Holy One, Creator, Spirit. However you envision, sometimes when we're kids, we think it's an old guy with a white beard in the sky. I think at this point we can drop that and we can be a little bit more, what's the word? Erudite, philosophical. It's a power greater than us, greater than we actually. We are, greater than we are. Grammatical mistake. We can edit that out, right? Okay. So everybody remember Debbie Friedman's music?
Yeah.
A lot of the synagogue here and many across the country and all over the world are singing settings and prayers that Debbie Friedman wrote over the last 50, 60 years. She's been gone about 15 years now, something like that. But her songs are still with us, and this is one of my favorites, if not the favorite. With their timbrels, followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced all night long. Miriam was a weaver of unique variety. The tapestry she wove was one that sang our history. With every strand and every thread she wrapped in her delight. The women hushed and stared as she dances towards the light. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced all night long. When Miriam stood upon the shores and gazed across the sea, the wonder of this miracle she soon came to believe. Whoever thought the sea would part with an outstretched hand, and we would pass to freedom and march to the promised land. Everybody, and the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. Miriam the prophet took her timbrel in her hand. All the women followed her just as she had planned. And Miriam raised her voice and song, sang with praise and might. We just lived through a miracle, her daughter danced tonight. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing the song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced all night long. By the
Lovely.
So here's one of the reasons I got kicked out of the rabbi's class. So it come to that part where, you open the door for Elijah, right? And I raise my hand and I go, but Rabbi, he's 2,000, 3,000 years old. He must be a ghost. He could just walk right through the wall. How come we have to open the door? Get out of here, kid. You're ruining my gig. So now I have a lot of those, if you might imagine. So this says Eliyahu, Elijah the prophet, Elijah the Tishbite, and from the Gilead. And we are waiting breathlessly for Elijah to come, who would be the harbinger of the coming of the Messiah. And we sing this as we open the door. We serenade him right in, and he drinks a cup of wine that we've actually set out on the Seder table for him, right? Either that or my stepfather did. Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishvi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Haniladi, Bimheira B'Yameinu, Yavo Eleinu, Imoshiach ben David, Imoshiach ben David, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishvi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Haniladi. Oi, Meshuggah. They didn't say that because that was Yiddish, but it was like that. They complained a lot. Remember, they complained and they said, you brought us out of the desert to starve. It would have been better if we stayed in Egypt. And then they made a golden calf and they were worshiping that. Moses came down. He was pretty mad when he came down and he saw, because he had 613 commandments on those first tablets. That was the other question that I had for the rabbis, was like, well, I know how they fit 10 on there, but 613, that's a heavy lift. Literally. Okay, so they say that, the first commandments, there were 613 of them, right? And then he dropped them, and they smashed, and then he had to go up and get another set with the 10 on it. And there's a bunch of other jokes about that, but this isn't a comedy program, Mark, so we'll just keep going here. And then we have a bunch of the Seder songs from different traditions. The Echad Mi Yodea, you know that one? Who knows one? One is God and always will be, and who knows two? Two are the tablets of the covenant, which I just referenced earlier in the joke. And then, three are the fathers, four are the mothers, five are the books of the Chamoshim, the 5 books of the Torah. And it goes on and on. It goes to like 13. I would be singing all 13 of them if I was home keeping my parents awake, but we'll only do a few of them. And there's a lot of different verses, a lot of different versions of these verses. So one of them goes like this. Echad mi yodeya, echad mi yodeya, echad Eloheinu shebashmayim uba'aretz, shnayim mi yodeya, shnayim ani yodeya, shnei luchot habrit, echad Eloheinu shebashmayim uba'aretz. But it's different than Yiddish. You know how Yiddish got started? Jews left Germany 500-600 years ago. Jews were being persecuted in Germany. Who would have thought? And so they left and they came to Poland and Russia, and they brought their version of German, Mittelhochdeutsch, Middle High German, and of course there were some Hebrew words in that, and then I mentioned there were Slavic and words in Russian, Polish, that sort of thing. So, but it goes, it's same song, but it's in Yiddish. Einer ist Gott, und Gott ist einer, und weiter there were so many different countries involved. I mean, there was the North African countries, the Middle Eastern countries, Turkey and Greece, and Amsterdam, completely different. The Dutch had their own melodies. If you go to a Portuguese-Spanish synagogue, a lot of the Portuguese Jews went to Holland. In my family, my father's family among them, actually. But this is a Turkish version. Quien supiense entendiense alabar yo creense, qualo es el uno, qualo es el uno, uno es el Creador, uno es el Creador, uno es el Creador, Baruch Shemo. Quien supiense entendiense alabar yo creense, cuáles son los dos, cuáles son los dos. Dos, Moshe y Aarón, uno es el Creador, Baruch Shemo. Now I want you to notice something about the second line in that. It says, dos Moshe y Aarón. Two were Moses and Aaron. What does the Hebrew say? Shnei luchot habrit, which means what? Two, the tablets of the covenant. And in Yiddish, the same thing. Zwei sind the lichos, lichot. Lichos in Yiddish. So why did the Sephardim change it to Moses and Aaron? Because it rhymes with the next one, which goes, Quien supiense entendense alabar los yo creense, cuáles son los tres, cuáles son los tres, tres muestras padres son, dos Moshe y Aarón, uno es el Creador, Baruch Shemo. So they changed it so it would rhyme. It's not the original, but that's Sephardim. I mean, we like to mess around with stuff. Next year in Jerusalem, and I've been to Jerusalem many times. My mother lived in Jerusalem for about 40 some odd years. She just died a couple months ago. She was 97.
Oh, wow.
And she's buried on the Mount of Olives. I won't tell you that whole story because the Orthodox group that she belongs to couldn't call me because she died on Shabbos, on Friday night, and I didn't find out till 2 days later. But they put me on Zoom, and I was able to sing a song to her during the memorial ceremony. And then they took her up to the Mount of Olives, and she's buried there. But I've been to Jerusalem many times. I would like to go back. But I would really like Israel and this whole thing with Gaza to be resolved.
Yes.
This is a really difficult thing for us as Jews, and even for many Israelis, to have this continue the way it has been. And I've been a pacifist my whole life. This is not the way that I learned or was taught to resolve differences. It's only going to make it worse. And that's as political as I'm going to get. But I would like to go at some time because I would like to see where my mom is buried and probably say Kaddish. Not probably, I would say Kaddish.
Yeah.
And that was right after my sister died, right before that. So it's been a tough year. My sister was only 72. But you know what? My mom had a cousin of her mother, my grandmother, who lived to be 105.
Wow.
And my father had a cousin who lived to be 102.
Wow.
So I tell people, you know what? If you don't like me, too bad. I'm going to be around for a while. I'm counting on that. as I thought we had the Seder's already, I told my groups, don't actually drink 4 cups of wine, because if you have to drive home, the local police will not accept, oh, it's a Jewish holiday. Okay? And if you eat too much matzah, you will find out why it's called the bread of affliction. Have a good, you got 6 more days, 5, 6 more days of matzah and celebrating freedom, and I'll see you next time. Oh, and I have some CDs here. None of the songs I did are on them. But I have some Yiddish CDs, and I have some with some Ladino and other languages, and some of my original songs. I write a lot of political satire. Some people might know that. So you could take me home without having to take me home, and listen to them when I'm not around. Some people prefer that. I don't know why. Anyway, everyone take care.
Thank you, Mark.